I don't know who else to talk to. I can't talk to my mother about this. She's already barely holding herself together. I can't talk to my father because he's the reason I'm writing this. I did something. I truly believed I was doing the right thing. I thought I was saving him, but now the house is filled with silence, a silence far worse than the screams I would give anything to hear again. I keep seeing the look in my father's eyes, and I know deep down that I made a terrible, irreversible mistake. I need help. I need someone to tell me what to do. We live in a nice neighborhood, the kind of place people move to when they're ready to start a family. White fences, wide lawns, flower beds my mother lovingly tends every spring. I grew up in what I believe was a normal, happy home until the tree appeared. It started 15 years ago. I was 10. One evening, my father came home from work with an energy I had rarely seen in him. He was a quiet, steady man who worked in the logistics, practical, predictable. Gardening was his one passion, his escape from everything else. That day, he held a small, crumpled paper bag in his hand. "Look," he said, eyes shining as he poured something into his palm. It was a single seed, black, misshapen, about the size of a pigeon's egg. It felt strangely heavy, etched with faint spiral patterns. "I bought it from an old man downtown," he told me. "He said it's special, that it will grow into a great tree, the king of our yard. It will shade the whole house, protect us." I was 10. I thought it sounded amazing. My father had always grown poetic when it came to plants. I assumed he was exaggerating, trying to make it magical for me. We planted it together in the center of the backyard. I remember the smell of fresh soil, the way his hands guided mine as we covered it. It's one of my last truly happy memories, and the tree grew fast, too fast. Within a couple of years, it was taller than me. My father was ecstatic. He tended to it like something sacred, built a small wooden fence around its base, not to keep animals out, but as if marking holy ground. No one else was allowed to water it. No one else could prune it. It was his. For years, my mother and I accepted it. It was his hobby, his harmless obsession. When he knelt beside it, we left him alone. That was his time. But the tree kept growing, and as it did, my father began to change. At first, it was subtle. He spent more and more hours in the yard, returning to dinner with dirt under his nails and a distant, peaceful look on his face. He stopped referring to it as a plant. "The tree is well today," he'd say. "It liked the rain." We smiled and nodded. By the time I was in my early 20s, the tree had become a monster. None of us could identify the species. Its bark was smooth and dark, almost black. Its leaves were thick, waxy, and unnaturally green, as if they drank the sunlight instead of reflecting it. It towered over our 2-story house, casting a vast, unnatural shadow across the entire yard. That's when things truly began to rot. My mother's roses withered, the vegetable beds died. Every flower she planted under that shadow turned pale, brittle, and gray. The soil beneath the tree hardened into lifeless stone. Then the animals disappeared. Birds stopped nesting in our yard. Squirrels vanished. Even our golden retriever refused to go outside. He would stand at the back door, tail tucked, whining, unwilling to step even a paw into that shade. But the worst change was in my father. His fixation became his entire existence. He quit his job, said he needed to stay home to serve the tree. From sunrise to sunset, he sat beneath it on a small bench he'd built himself, just sitting. Sometimes his head tilted, as if listening. Sometimes his lips moved. He was talking to it. My mother begged. "Please," she cried, "come inside, eat something, you're disappearing." He only smiled, slow, serene. "I'm not hungry," he said. "It's peaceful here." She calms me. She can calm you too. Just sit with me. We never did. There was something wrong with that shade. It wasn't just darkness. It felt heavy, cold, hungry. Standing at its edge felt like standing at the shore of a black ocean. Every instinct screamed that stepping inside meant drowning. The last weeks were unbearable. He barely came inside at all. Slept in a chair for an hour at most. His skin grew pale and waxy. His eyes sank deep into his face, glowing with empty peace. The tree was consuming him, and he was letting it. I couldn't watch him die, so I decided to act. The tree had to go. I waited until the house finally went quiet. From the hallway, I watched my father shuffle inside, his shoulders slumped, his movements slow and fragile. He collapsed into the armchair in the living room the way he had every night for weeks, half awake, half lost, his eyes closed, but I knew he wasn't really sleeping. He never truly did anymore. Upstairs, my mother's bedroom door was shut. A thin line of light glowed beneath it, then disappeared. The house exhaled into stillness. That was my chance. I went to the garage and wrapped my fingers around the handle of the splitting axe. It felt heavier than it ever had before, as if it already knew what it was meant for. My palms were damp. My heart hammered so loudly I was certain it would wake someone. I slipped out through the back door. Moonlight bathed the yard in pale silver, but beneath the tree there was no light at all. The shadow was absolute, a hole cut out of the world. Standing at its edge felt like standing at the shore of a dark ocean. You didn't need proof to know that stepping in was wrong. I did it anyway. The cold hit instantly, not the kind that comes from night air, but a deep, draining chill that seemed to pull warmth straight from my bones. I forced myself forward until I stood at the base of the trunk. Up close, the bark was smooth and slick, almost warm, like skin. I raised the axe. The blade barely touched the surface when I heard it. "Don't." The voice brushed my ear, not loud, not sharp. It was layered, male and female, young and ancient, breath and wind and whisper all at once. I stumbled back, spinning around. The yard was empty. It had to be fear, my own mind rebelling. I swallowed, stepped forward again, and lifted the axe higher this time. I brought it down. The sound was wrong. Not the clean crack of wood, not the dry resistance of bark. It was wet. The axe sank into the trunk with a thick, meaty thud. I yanked it free, and a dark liquid seeped from the wound. It glistened in the moonlight. I told myself it was sap. I struck again, and again. My world narrowed to motion and breath. Swing, impact, pull, swing. My arms burned. Sweat ran into my eyes. Each blow released more of that dark fluid. A metallic scent filled the air. Blood, I knew that smell. My stomach lurched. For one terrifying moment, I nearly dropped the axe and ran. Then I pictured my father sitting in that chair, hollow-eyed and fading. I kept going. I screamed as I swung, pouring every ounce of fear and rage into the blade. The tree shuddered. A sound rose from deep within it, a groan, low and vast, as if the earth itself were in pain. With one final strike, the trunk split. The giant fell. Branches shattered across the yard. Pots exploded into ceramic dust. The shadow vanished in an instant, replaced by moonlight and silence. I stood there, shaking, barely able to breathe. Then I saw the stump. I pulled a flashlight from my pocket and aimed it at the cut. Inside, there was no wood. There was flesh. Fibrous, tangled masses of dark muscle and pale sinew spiraled inward towards something at the center. I leaned closer, my vision tunneling. Embedded in the heart of the tree was a human torso, a rib cage, the curve of a spine. Preserved, pale, wrong. I had cut straight through it. Blood still pulsed from the wound. A sound rose behind me. "Burn it!" I turned. My father stood on the patio. The beam of my flashlight caught his face. The vacant serenity was gone. In its place was grief so deep it hollowed him out. He wasn't looking at me, he was looking at what I had destroyed. "Dad," I whispered. "Burn it," he repeated. "All of it, now." We worked together without speaking. We chopped the massive limbs into pieces we could drag. He moved like an old man, each motion slow and deliberate. He never once looked at the thing inside the trunk. We piled everything in the center of the yard. I poured gasoline. My father struck the match. Flames erupted. Thick black smoke rose, carrying the stench of burned meat and something far worse. We stood there for hours, watching it die completely, until the great tree was nothing but ash and a charred scar in the grass. I believed I had saved him. I was wrong. A week passed. My father eats, he sleeps in his bed, his body is here, but he is not. The calm is gone, so is the obsession. In its place is constant trembling fear. He wanders the house, flinching at every sound. He hasn't spoken a word since that night. Sometimes he looks at me, and I feel like a monster. I traded a smiling ghost for a broken man. The house is silent now, louder than screams ever were. What was that thing? What did I destroy? And how do I bring my father back?
That's where the story ends. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of this story in the comments. Subscribe to the channel and see you next time.